Hello lovelies, how are you all doing today? I hope you are all well. I'm okay, just really tired at the moment. I think the last few months are slightly catching up with me, and I've blown up one of my legs. I don't know what I've done. I woke up with it. I must have twisted in the night with something. I wrenched that knee, so I'm not weight bearing at the moment, which is a bit inconvenient. So even in the flat, using my stick, really annoying, bearing in mind what I want to do in the next few days. More of that in a second. But otherwise, you know what, ticking along, just getting on. Although things have come to a halt, I will explain. Anyway, before I do that, yeah, just the other day I was mentioning that lavender. What on earth was I thinking, saying, oh yeah, I'll do all these bags in an hour. How can I have forgotten? It took me 2.5 hours. Absolutely ridiculous. But that is my lavender now done. I was planning to be at Gary's plot today, but yeah, there's no way I can walk down. I mean, I can hardly walk to the kitchen, never mind walking to the garden. So it can wait, I'm right at the end of August. I know you won't see this until just into September, but I'm right at the end of August. I've still got a couple more days when I can do it. So hopefully a bit of R&R at home will just let all this inflammation and anger go down so I can get back on with things. Anyway, so the lavender from my plot is all harvested and processed. Brilliant. Yay! Oh my goodness. In the last video, I think it was, I was saying about the tap. I was waiting in, it was a rainy day, that's okay, I'll get on with other stuff, wait for this tap. I was checking my tracking every half an hour or so. I had it on the computer in the kitchen. I was working away on the sewing machine. Go and check every half an hour or so. It's good to get up and move around every half an hour anyway. And it kept saying, out for delivery, something like ETA, that's it, ETA, to be confirmed. It's saying it all day, and I thought, oh, come on, I want it here. I just want to put my tap back on. I don't have a hot tap in the bathroom. Anyway, checked again at 5 o'clock, to be confirmed. 5:30, delivered. 5:30. I was like, oh, how has he got it through the letterbox? Because there was no buzz on my door. So I went downstairs. No, it hasn't been delivered. There's nothing there. Of course there's not. You can't fit a tap through a letterbox. Anyway, came back upstairs, went on the site, found the phone number, rang it. It said, any issues, ring this number. Rang it. Lines close at 5 p.m. Oh. There was an email thing, so I popped an email in, excuse me. I popped an email off to them to say, you know, you're saying it's delivered, it hasn't been, where's my parcel? I really need it, thank you. The next morning, I was amazed at this, 10 minutes past 8 in the morning, I was hardly awake, I get a phone call. And they're like, oh, hello, Ian, I'm calling about your tap. It has been delivered, but you weren't in, so we left it with your neighbour. And I said, which neighbour? And they said, let's invent a name for him. Mr. Smith. It was a man's name. Mr. Smith. I don't know a Mr. Smith. Where? Which flat exactly? And they said, oh, it's at 420B. 420B? What? What are you talking about? I didn't even know there was a 420B. What? And he said, yeah, are you a flat above a shop? And I said, yes. He said, you're above a double glazing shop? No. Oh, there's a park opposite? He must have been looking at Google Street View. There's a little park opposite you? No. And then he said, oh, there's a library. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's a couple of miles away. It's right at the far, far, far end of my road. What on earth? This is what's happened. Let's say that my address is flat 4, 20A, London Road. That's not my address, don't write to it. Flat 4, one line of the address, flat 4, 20A, London Road, da da da. And he's read it as 420A. Of course, I don't live at 420. Anyway, I mean, I don't want to be mean. I would never be mean about adult literacy. There was a programme I was watching, I'll talk about that another day, I think, but, you know, folk into adulthood who can't read and write, it breaks my heart. I can't bear it. And it's actually, there's been talk a couple of weeks ago, people were saying about jobs. Oh, can you do this? Could you do that? Can you do the other? No, I'm not qualified to do any of those things. But one thing I'd like to look into when I retire, so I can't do any volunteer jobs at the moment because I need to work every hour that's available in order to just pay my own bills. Anyway, one thing I'd like to look into for once I'm retired is to help with adult literacy classes. I presume one needs, I don't know whether one needs a qualification or whether there's training that one can get from a body, an organisation, but I would love to help with adult literacy. I cannot imagine life without reading. I mean, never mind the whole world that's open to me. I'm looking over at my bookcase now. Never mind the whole world that opens up to me with books. Simple things like reading a bus timetable, reading directions in a street, reading the packet of medicine, reading instructions with a prescription. Yeah, it's definitely something I would really like to be involved with. Anyway, never mind that. This is not about illiteracy. I just wanted to make it clear that I'm not about to have a go at adults who can't read, because that's awful and that's not their fault. There's a system fault there. Kids who can leave school without reading, learning to read. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is surely a delivery driver, there are only 2 requirements to be a delivery driver. 1, that you can drive, you've got a licence, and 2, that you can read an address, for goodness sakes. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? Flat 4, next line, 20A, London Road. Anyway, so this chap was on the phone, you know, he was saying, oh, the library. And I realised what he was talking about. And I said, look, I can't get there. I have mobility issues. I mean, I could get there. It's a bus ride. It's either 6 or 7 bus stops away. That's how far it is. I don't really want to be paying a bus fare to go and retrieve a parcel, but also I don't want to knock on a stranger's door. A bloke, you know, he might be a psychopath. I watch too much crime drama. But, you know, me, I'm a woman on my own. I don't want to go knock on the door of a man I don't know. But also, what if he's not there? And then I come home without my parcel and I've spent my bus fare. I could do that every day. You know, what if he's on holiday? Anyway, so the chap on the phone said, sorry, that's my empty laundry liquid is sitting here waiting until my leg can weight bear again for me to go out and refill it. I'm going to try this afternoon. So I'm a bit all over the place today. I've got some clips and stuff to slot in. But yeah, so then he said, well, what we'll do is we'll get the couriers to go back to that address, collect it from him, and then we'll deliver it to you. So a few days have gone by and still nothing. So I've sent another email to say what's happening, and email back to say, yeah, we haven't been able to retrieve it yet. We'll let you know when we have. So it's getting a bit like, I'm sorry, that's not really good enough, because I need this item quite urgently now. I'm going to give them a couple more days. That's all. And then I think what I'm going to do is what I should have done in the first place in terms of my shopping experience. I'm going to cancel the order and say, I'm cancelling the order. I'd like a refund, please. Get the refund in my hand and go myself on the bus to the big DIY builder's merchant place and just go and buy a tap and have it in my hand and bring it home. I could be done and dusted with the whole thing in 2 hours instead of 2 weeks and counting. Honestly, I just do not seem to have much luck when it comes to ordering things online. It's so frustrating because in an ideal world, ordering something online, it's supposed to make life easier, isn't it? I don't have to leave my home. I go online, I look, I see the thing that I need, I purchase it, 2 days later it turns up, great. But so often, I mean, I don't do a lot of shopping, I don't do a lot of purchasing, but it just seems that so often, more often than not, when I purchase something, there's an issue with actually getting it. And it's that thing of, I work from home as well, so it's not like, thank goodness I'm not taking a day off work to stay at home to receive something, but it's that thing of, when you leave a card to say we called and you weren't in, it's like, I was in, you are lying. So pesky. Anyway, that day that I was waiting in, I was going to be at home working anyway, so it's no skin off my nose in terms of I'm at home all day. It's a little bit annoying though, because even if I'm at home all day, I'm sure you get this as well, that there's just that feeling, you can't quite settle into your work because you're always mindful, the doorbell's going to go. Anyway, that day, it was a drizzly, dark day, cracked on with things anyway. A couple of days later, I'm just trying to remember because I've got a couple of clips. There's one clip I completely forgot from a week or so ago and to slot in and show you. But yeah, a couple of days later we had some really good rain. I know that all my gardening friends were delighted, despite the fact that we had such a wet winter and a wet spring. We're at that time of year, of course, when all the gardeners say, I've got to go back to the garden and water again. So yeah, we had a really good downpour. Really great opportunity to test all the building work that was done out the back, including all the replacement downpipes. I don't know if I ever mentioned that, but not only the gutters and the roof, but then we also had an issue with the big long downpipe. That's been fixed. So anyway, this is a little bit of, think of it as a bit of ASMR. Think of it as a bit of my quiet, simple stuff. This is me checking that the roof, the gutters, everything's working okay. Something mesmeric about rain, isn't there? And I think that front gutter, the big box gutter at the front of my building, when it's really lashing and that water's just pouring down, because I live on a hill next door, the building next door is ever so slightly higher than me, the building that way is ever so slightly lower, so you can see where that spout comes out, that's their box gutter, and it comes down, so all along the street we go toot 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 all the way down the hill. But yeah, the sight of that water just pouring and the sight of the water running down the slates, I could watch it. I'm not going to say I could watch it for hours. I could watch it for 5 minutes at least. Anyway, so a good bit of rain. Just before, I should have done this in the other order. I think it was the day before, we had another really lovely fine day. So I went back to my old garden, and just to be really clear, because I know this came up from my lavender harvest video, I'm not stealing someone else's harvest. I'm not stealing someone else's produce. No one has taken over my plot, my old plot yet. I have permission to harvest from those plants. Remember, the plants that I paid for. So it's not like someone's just put them in and I'm sneaking in and stealing a harvest. I am not stealing harvests. I have permission. So on this particular day, the footage you're going to see now, I was back to do the last of my lavender plants. So now, yeah, anyway, have a little look. There's a little bit more in the garden, and I just pop over to a friend's garden. Again, I'm not stealing their harvest of vegetables. I had permission. That's the last of my lavender picked. I've just cut the excess off so that can now one-handed pop it in the compost. Now, while I'm here, hold on, don't forget secateurs and trog. Oh look, I can cut across here. That's weird. Walking through the cold frame. Yeah, goodness me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants visible again. But what I'm going to do next is go onto my neighbour's plot here, because they've said, oh, look at their sunnies. Sorry, oh gosh, I'm a bit stumbly today. Look at their sunnies. Of course, they're turned this way. Turn au sol. Let's get right the way around. Hang on a sec. Oh, happy sight. That's summer, isn't it? Should we pretend we're in Provence? Maybe. Yes, they said, please, 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 would I help myself to courgette? Because they've got lots coming. Now, there's a couple of plants over there. One there, and then this one here. If I remember correctly, they've got 2 yellows and 2 greens, 2 varieties. And I think they prefer the yellow. So I shall take green. Oh yes, look. Oh, they're not massive yet. That one might do. Let's go and look at the other plants. Yeah, I'm pretty. Oh look, gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. Yeah, like I say, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. And straight away doubting myself. Where's the other courgette plants? There's 2 on the front. Yeah, I think they like or prefer the yellow ones. So this monster here is yellow. Yeah, I can see little yellow ones there. What's in here? Whoopla. Oh, yellow. Is this all one plant? Good grief. It's all one plant. That's bonkers. Okay, that's squash. That's cukes. They definitely said they've got 2 greens and 1 yellow. That's, yeah, oh, I see. It's over here. This is the other green. Let's have a look. Well, there's only 1 on there. Oh gosh, well they just, I mean, they're so lovely, these women here anyway. They're just absolutely gorgeous human beings. And they're saying help yourself, but there aren't that many on the plants. I don't want to steal their dinner. Maybe I should take this more on the yellows. They're not really fully formed yet though. Maybe on this one. Oh, I don't know what to do now. Oh, that's quite a biggie. Let's have that one because I think. Oops, sorry, I'm doing everything one-handed. Swap hands. Let's come in here like this. Where are we? What am I trying to show you? Oh, it's here. Behind. It's this one. And I think they really would like me to have a couple. So, gorgeous. And maybe I'll go back and get one of those green ones. Although, yeah, here we go. The yellow ones do seem a bit more prolific. Yeah, let's take that one. Also, it's on the ground. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, thanks, girlies. I shall enjoy, yeah, courgette and potato soup is on the menu again. It hasn't been on the menu for ages. Woohoo! Look who's coming for a cuddle. Little Rosiekins. Hello, little Rosie girl. Come and say hello to everyone. I think some of the lovely people in La La Land will have missed you too. Oh, she's a pretty kitty. You're going to come to me, but slightly sideways, avoiding me, are you? Oh, hey, gorgeous girl. Hey, gorgeous. Shall we sit for a minute? Yes, I thought you'd lost your voice for a minute. Shall we sit for a minute? I think we shall. Oh, lovely stuff. I've just got back from the plot. Ostensibly, I was there to harvest lavender. Done. I need to split it into smaller bags, put it out to dry. But what I'm going to do first is get some soup on the go because I've got my lovely courgettes from my neighbours. I don't have a regular spud, but I've got a sweet potato and an onion. Yay! And I just texted them to say thank you so much for the courgettes. They're really pleased I took some. But also, what was adorable was she messaged back to say how much they're loving the cocoa beans, the cuckoo. I think, what did I give them? Cocoa Sophie beans. It's become a fan favourite for them. And she's saying how from the seeds I gave them, which they grew, they've, like all good gardeners, they've saved some seed and they've kept growing it. So this is their 3rd year from those original seeds of mine. And so in the message she said, your garden lives on. I was just so pleased to get that message because firstly, you know, as a gardener, I'm really happy to know that. But I'm delighted because I know that she knows, you know, that will mean a great deal to me. So yes, let's get on and make soup. It's weird. I've never thought the yellow courgette were quite so appealing, appetizing because of the colour. But of course they taste great. So who cares about the colour? It's about how they taste. Yeah, I was just really, really touched by that message back from her because, yeah, she knows how important that kind of stuff is to me. And yes, my garden lives on in another garden. Right, let's get on with making lunch. It was so good to have courgette and potato soup again. Yum, 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 yum. Obviously slightly different taste using the sweet potato than a regular potato, but still yummy all the same. Good. Right, now a slight change, a slight shift. I was mentioning that tap and really wanting to get hold of it, and I don't know where I'm at. Hang on, I sort of do know where I'm at. In the last sort of 48 hours or so, I've had quite quite a shift in what I need to be doing and how I need to be getting on with things. You know, I'm a planner. You all know that by now. And since last sort of December or so, I'd made a plan for this year in order to try and make sure that I would fit in all the jobs I want to do, say on the flat in terms of doing it up, jobs in terms of generating my income, all that sort of thing. And I've been mostly, excuse me, I've been mostly on track. But there have been a couple of curveballs. All the work outside with the builders outside, that was a bit unexpected. And it did take up time, not a huge amount of time, but there was time taken up because of, you know, having to converse with everyone else in the building, having to sort out monies for it, dealing with the builders themselves. So there have been a few curveballs. There have been a few that I haven't even talked about on camera, which I don't need to, personal stuff. So, but despite all that, I have kind of been on track, apart from the fact that I'm right at the end of August now in my time. I had hoped that by the end of the first week of August, I would have harvested all the lavender and I'd be well underway with sewing my lavender bags. So I feel like I'm behind by a month. I was sitting a couple of nights ago processing the lavender, as I mentioned in a previous video, I'm not sure when, that it's a case of go to the plot, harvest a plant, bring it home. That all takes about an hour and a half. Get it home, get it spread out to dry. Next day, do the same. An hour and a half of time, go down to, you get the drift. And after about 3 or 4 days, the lavender is dry enough for me to then process. Processing takes ages, takes another, well, I just mentioned like 2.5 hours or so. I do that on the settee. I have a tray on my lap with my, you know, plant material here, a big bowl here, and then a sack next to me for the stems to go back to the plot for composting. That process is really messy. It's so messy. No matter how tidy I try to be, the floor is littered with plant material. It's just the way it goes. It's really messy. And actually the making of the bags themselves, so never mind, that's processing lavender. Then in terms of making bags, it's, you know, I've got material spread out everywhere where I'm matching things together, cutting, then I've got piles where I've arranged them in their sort of sequences. The ironing board is out, the sewing machine is out. Suddenly this room looks awful. It's chaos, it's messy, but also like the floor is just filthy with plant. It's a mess. It's a really happy mess, but it's a mess. And I was thinking, oh God, I need to get this, I need to work quicker. I need to get this done because I want to get the agents in. I want to get this place photographed while we still have this good light of summer. I want to start having viewings. I need to get moving, etc., etc. And then I suddenly thought, you know what, Vivi? Let's have a complete change of tack. I'm going to, excuse me, sorry. In the past, I've dried the lavender in my shed. I bring it home to process and make the mess here, but I dry it in the shed. I haven't done that so far because I've left the plot and I kept thinking at any moment someone new is going to take my plot. However, the committee are not being given the waiting list from the council. The council are so dragging their feet. There's one person now doing the job for the entire borough. So it's not my concern. I don't care. I've left. I've gone. I mean, I care in so much as I really, really, really want someone to get my plot and start loving it soon. There's a possibility that a current plot person who has a half plot, it's possible that they may take over my full plot. It's not really, my plot is a half plot, theirs is a quarter. Semantics. Anyway, there's a chance that they may be taking it over. pardon me. And even if they don't, we're looking at moving my shed to their plot because I'm going to give them my shed. So the long and the short is, if that happens, whether they move the shed or not, or take my plot, I've said, do you mind if we share the shed for a bit longer so I can dry all of Gary's lavender in there, because it's a lot. And then that means I can harvest it all in one go. It'll take me 3 or 4 hours to get it all harvested and hung, rather than walking back and forth every day, because it's the walking there and back takes up way too much time. It's best part of 40-45 minutes just going there and back. So that would mean I could harvest all of Gary's in one go, in one morning, afternoon, get it in the shed. It's in the shed to dry. I still need to bring it home to process. I still need to make that mess. But what if, and this is how my brain is always juggling, what's the most ergonomic way to work, what's the best use of time. The big thing is, I need to move. Moving house has got to be my priority now. So the new plan, I'm going to hold off making the lavender bags for now. God knows I could do with the income from them, but honestly, house moving is more important. So the plan now is, and if my legs will support me this afternoon, after I've made this video, I'm actually going to go up the high street to my local agents. The idea is, over the next 3 or 4 days, I'm going to give the flat a massive deep clean again. Do all my tweaks, my slight rearrangements. I've been keeping, I think I mentioned this, I've been keeping a notepad full of little, oh, don't forget to move that or take that away or add this, dirt, when it comes to staging for selling. So I'm going to have the next 3 or 4 days doing that. And it's going to take that long. I know people might think, oh, you could do it all in a day. Don't forget, I'm hobbling, you know. You try hoovering the floors with only one hand, and your non-dominant hand. I use my dominant hand for holding my stick. You try hoovering your home with a stick in your hand. It's not easy. Anyway, I'm not saying that for pity. I mean, I would love empathy and compassion, but not pity. Anyway, so I'm going to give myself 3 or 4 days, I think 4 days, get it all done. Get the agents in. So today what I want to do is go to, I think there's 4 different agents I want to ask. Get them in when all this is done and dusted. Get them in, get my valuations, pick the agency I want to go with, and then hopefully within a day or 2 of that, get the photographer in to get their photos done and get me on the market. Now, part of the reason obviously as time goes on, I will keep you posted, and I'm going to go into a few things in a bit more detail. But part of the reason for not going on the market just yet, or until now, has been a couple of things. I know that a lot of people have said, oh, don't bother doing anything, don't bother trying to tart it up, just sell it. Well, I hope that what I've done I hope it's increased the value a bit, but I certainly hope it's made it more sellable and a quick sale. I did have the flat valued a couple of years ago. I'm going to dig out that paperwork. I know what it was. I know what value was put on it. So I'm going to have a little look at inflation and see what that equates to today, so I can know if I've increased my value. So I'll talk about that once the agents have been in. I'll tell you exactly how much I've spent and how much I've increased by, I hope, but at least saleability. So, but the other thing, you know, folk have been saying, just sell it, just sell it, just sell it. The fact is, I've had nowhere to go to. There's no point in selling my flat. I would make myself homeless. What is the point of that? I would have to move into a rental. And round here, a small 1-bed flat, same square footage as this, it's going to cost me £1,000 a month. So, you know, if I've been looking for a couple of years, that's £24,000 gone on renting. That's £24,000 going into someone else's mortgage. £24,000, that's my moving fund. So, no, I'm not going to sell and make myself homeless. I'm only going to start to think about selling when I start to see properties that are a strong possibility for me. And that's what's going on at the moment. There are new properties coming onto the market. And that's another thing people have said, oh, you have to sell in the summer, because if you don't sell in the summer, oh, you're going to have to wait a whole nother year. Well, my agents here, apparently they work 52 weeks of the year. They buy and sell all year. So yeah, there have been some quite interesting, I'm trying not to get excited, there have been some prospects coming onto the market, and I might be actually going and viewing soon. So back to the whole lavender bags and the messing. So the idea is, let's get the agents in, let me pick one, let them get the photographs done so we are move ready. I'll get my energy certificate sorted, all of that kind of stuff, so that I'm absolutely ready to go. Come in, come and view. And then I'm hoping it will sell quickly. I think it will, just because in the area, in terms of price, it'll be by far the cheapest thing in this area. And it's a nice flat, and I think it's well presented. Once I've got an offer here that I accept, and I found somewhere and put my offer in where I want to buy and they've accepted, from that point onwards, it can be 3 months or more until we're actually handing over front door keys. So during that period, which is a horrible, horrible period, because nothing is guaranteed until you've got those keys in your hand. My person who wants to buy here, they could pull out right at the last minute. Where I'm going to buy, the seller could change their mind right at the last minute and decide to stay. So nothing is guaranteed. It's horrible. I hate this system. But anyway, what I thought would be a really smart thing to do is, once I've agreed with my purchaser and someone's agreed to me as a seller, that chunk of time where everybody's happy, everything, the solicitors take over and do all the work, that's when I can start getting really stuck in with all my sewing. I can make as much mess as I want, because I won't have any more viewings because I've got a purchaser. So I can make mess without worrying about it. I can just get my head down and get sewing. I'll know that everything that I needed to do to the flat has been done. Hence, back to that tap thing. I might be showing agents around and having to explain, yeah, the tap's on its way, but that will be the only thing. And hopefully by the time I'm into viewings, that tap will be back. But yeah, I don't need to do anything to the flat. Once I've got a purchaser lined up, it's not even like I have to, you know, do a really big clean 2 or 3 times a week every time someone's coming to view. I can, for 3 or 4 months, I can relax a bit. You can't really relax with house buying, but in terms of, I can relax in terms of doing jobs on the flat, done. Being really clean and tidy all the time, don't matter, no more viewings, I've sold it in theory. Yeah, I can just get on with sewing. And I just think that's a much, much more sensible way of doing things than what I'd got in my head. And this goes back to my December plan. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit now, but I'd got in my head, like, as soon as my lavender bags are finished and that mess has finished, I'll get the agents in. That's how my thinking had been. And because I was getting a bit behind with my schedule and I'm coming to the end of August and I still haven't harvested Gary's and that's going to be a lot of mess, I just thought, okay, stop. I mean, in the meantime, and get marketing my place. What I can do, forget processing lavender, but what I can do, even if I've still got viewings going on, I can at least do some sewing. I won't have the ironing board out. I press all my seams open. But I can do as much sewing as possible because I can do that in a quite a contained, neat way. And if there's a little bit of sewing out on the table for a viewing, I think that's fine. It's like, oh, it shows, you know, there's room here to do hobbies or work from home, for example. But yeah, the bigger mess and chaos, I can't have that until this flat is sold. Well, until I've accepted an offer. Like I said, this whole buying and selling thing, you want to say, oh, I've sold my flat to someone. But until they've got the keys in their hand and until I've got the keys in my hand to my next property, ain't sold. God, it's nerve-wracking. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible in terms of the nerves, because I think the whole thing about buying somewhere is one really needs to fall in love to an extent. So it's like you have to allow yourself to fall in love and get that real kind of emotional reaction to a space to think, oh yeah, I love it, I could be happy here. You need that. But on the other hand, you almost need to be completely dispassionate about it in case it goes wrong. Anyway, you can be sure I will keep you posted about all of it. Hopefully, you know, hopefully by October I can be sewing, and I'd really like to get lavender bags made in time for Christmas because I think they make really beautiful Christmas gifts. So look, can you all cross everything and keep it crossed from right now until I'm actually in my new home? Please just cross everything. Oh, right. All right, lovelies. Now I've been rattling on. I will see you all again soon. Not sure for what. But yeah, I'll see you again soon. And, oh, I know what we could do. I might show you the flat again tweaked. What I've done, little tweaks. Then, by then I should have a valuation as well. So I can talk about, hopefully, the fact that I've added value by doing those few extra judges. I think the hallway is the big difference. Getting rid of that bare plaster, and also the plaster that was running down the walls, it didn't get plastered. It looked dirty. I mean, it wasn't dirty, it just looked it. It was gloomy and dark and dirty. And I hope that alone will have made, I mean, I personally, it makes a huge difference as I come up the stairs. Just things like getting the gas meter covered with that box, loads more light coming in because those windows are scrubbed and sparkling, plants out there. Anyway, you know what I'm on about. So that's maybe what we'll do for the next video. I'll give you a quick look around what I've done, agents, valuations, how much I spent on my doing up. We'll do all of that in the next one, or the next but one. It depends how quickly I can get the agents in. But I won't get the agents in unless I shut up today, right now, and hobble. I'm going to try the stairs. I haven't managed the stairs for 4 days now. Fingers crossed. I wonder if I might even do it by phone. If I can't get out, yeah, I can do it by phone. Try and book them to come in and view and value. All right, lovelies. I'm getting quite excited about it. I'm so excited. I'm trying to contain it. Until the next one, cheerio.